Hi everyone, welcome. Sorry about earlier today. I had a blackout and I had a doctor's appointment. Well, my yearly physical, as you noted, I went to get new glasses a couple of weeks ago or last week. And the week before that, I had to go to the dentist. This is the month. It's not my birthday month, but that's how things went. Hi, artist. So I figured it took, like a little while, about 5-10 minutes for the power to come back up and for all my systems to stabilize. I mean, thank God I bought one of those UPS devices so that because I think that's what killed one of my machines a couple of years ago. I had to troubleshoot it myself. So I fixed it. Thank God. It could have been expensive. But anyway, that's what happened. I had a blackout here. Sorry about that, and thank you for your patience and for showing up again. As I was saying earlier, I'm going to continue from where I left off about the way Trump, Vance, among others, are basically they are hoping they can divide the country. And if they can, that's what I'm getting intuitively, and I'm going to prove to you I'm right. Because I just read something Trump posted, okay? It feels like to me, if they're going to try to divide, they are trying to divide the country, okay? I'm not quite sure what the demarcation lines are, okay? But they seem to think they can frighten us, those of us who are not MAGAs. They seem to think that they can make demands and have their ways, just like Trump is trying to do with the budget. But intuitively, I feel he's going to lose. If we have a shutdown, it won't last very long, because we're going to find out very fast people are not going to tolerate it. But anyway, to go back to what I was saying, intuitively, it is an intentional thing that they are doing, dividing the country. I am not sure if it's part of the 2025 project, but I was listening to Vance yesterday. That's how I feel, and also that's why I feel like saying what I'm saying. And also there is a lot of the super wealthy, okay? They are talking to him. They are basically lobbying him to continue what Trump has started. And also I read something, I don't know if I mentioned that in this morning video. When that guy, like I said in the earlier video, the guy who thinks that we can charm us into believing dictatorship is good for us. Okay? He said during the first Civil War, the South was not fighting to win. Yeah, very bright guy. Yeah, but anyway, those of you, I'm sure all of you know better than I do. Okay? That's not true. But that's the mentality of these people. They think they're going to be able to get the right to hit us who are not MAGAs, or who they feel is different from them, because it feels like to me it's liberals and anybody of color. They want nothing to do with us. Okay? And right before I came on, Trump posted, let me see if I copied it. Hang on a second. Okay. Trump posted something probably on Truth Social, but I read it on X. It reads, "The radical left is causing the problems. It's going to get worse, and it's going to go back on them. Bad things happen when they play these games. I will give you a little clue. The right is a lot tougher than the left. They better not get them energized. Let me tell you something. The people he's referencing, Tim Pool and Company, and the guy from Heritage Foundation who went on MSNBC and warned everybody. Okay, if they don't have their way, blood will spill. That was his statement. You can search for it. His name is Kevin Roberts. Okay. I believe the show at the time was The Weekend with Simone, Steele, and the other lady. I can never remember her name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. So this is something they've been talking about for a couple of years. I guess Trump just woke up and decided which direction he's going to take. Not that it made any difference, because he's been blaming everyone else except himself for his shortcomings. Okay, but I have news for him, though, for all of them. This is going to fail big time. Yes, they're going to have a minority who are dumb enough to follow them into picking up arms and do all kind of crazy stuff. I don't think it's going to work. Like I said a long time ago, the plan, let me put it this way, I'm not going to get into anything else. You guys understand. It's not going to go well for them. They will not win. And the notion that the left, the right is tougher than the left, all that stuff from the first, you don't know that until the first shot is fired. And what I am seeing, not happening. So, but that's what Trump and those other people are trying to do, splitting the country in half. He's projecting here, okay, saying, oh, I'll give you a little clue, the right is tougher than the left. They better don't get them energized. He's been energizing them every day since January 6th, or before they had that January 6th situation. Okay, but intuitively, if I were them, I would rethink that plan. I don't feel it's going to work. But that's what I was explaining earlier, and I thought I would continue and conclude. They're going to continue to try to frighten anyone who's different from them, or if they sent you a label or something, they're going to see if they can, just like they were supposed to go to Michigan and they backed off because Pritzker basically is putting them on their heels, and they are very concerned. By the way, if you watch, they are very concerned. They are playing Mr. Tough, excuse me. Okay, but they are afraid of igniting something they're not going to be able to stop. And to review, that's what I feel. But they're going to continue to see if they can divide, and for the rest of the country to just say, okay, you can walk all over me, you know, yes, master, yes, boss, you're right, you can take over, you king. That's basically what they think they're going to be able to do. All the other threats, once, just like Pritzker stood up and Newsom, okay, watch how they behave. And also, they are beginning to be very concerned because people who are going against them, unfortunately, poor migrants lost their lives yesterday. Violence is never the way to go. But it's their own people, and that's what I was saying not too long ago. It's going to be a problem. It's the people who don't talk, the people who don't say anything. They just absorb. This young gentleman was 29 years old. Okay, his first Saturn return. You know, if I knew him, I would have said, it's not a good thing. But When it's time to go, it's time to go. But intuitively, I feel, and according to report, the report is correct, he did not know how to use a rifle. He was new at it, okay? But his goal was to do what I have been predicting for a long time, or for as long as this has been going on. And unfortunately, there will be more, and potentially be a lot worse than this. That's my prediction. But they are beginning to be very concerned about this, because you don't know the people who are going to react. They don't say anything. They just react. But my friend, don't be afraid. Yes, we are in a very scary situation. And as far as Vance, he's an opportunist. He is leaning, because like I said, he's being lobbied. Look, he's lost by the people like Peter Thiel, Musk. One of you sent me an article about Musk's dad. Yeah, model citizens. But anyway, it seems like to me he is going to follow the suggestions of those guys, and whenever they feel it's right to move Trump to the side, because Trump is reaching a point right now, it feels like to me he's more of a liability than an asset. If you see what happened yesterday at the United Nations, he embarrassed the country. And it's going to get worse. I mean, the speech he gave, how things went down, their behavior after that escalator jammed, or, somebody, his photographer, basically, by mistake, flipped the switch, stopped the elevator. But it's the way they went screaming about investigation, and somebody from Fox News even said bomb the place or something. This is where they are, and none of those guys are speaking that way by mistake. They have talking points going out to everybody, how they should address certain issues. But my friends, Vance, whenever he takes over, that his wife is going to be a bit of a challenge, or more of a challenge to him when he ascends to the presidency. But it's going to be difficult for Vance, because intuitively I feel, I don't want to badmouth anyone who grew up in situations like he grew up in, because it's not our fault. We're not responsible for what our parents, what they survived, the traumas, and then when they grow up, they do the same thing to their family instead of, this is America. Don't get me wrong, it's very difficult to change. But in this country, you can see there are other examples you can follow. In a country like Haiti, if you live outside of the capital, you are isolated, maybe you can have an excuse for not changing or find better ways, but instead of continuing the same old way of mistreating your family. But the point I'm trying to make is Vance. Okay. It feels like to me, just like Trump, he's damaged in some ways. He's got issues as well. And that's one of the major problems. between him and his wife. She's putting up with a lot of stuff. The same way Trump is traumatizing and destroying our country, Vance won't do it to the same degree or the same level. You can more or less reason with him because he's a smarter version of Trump, but you got to be careful. You got to watch him as well. Okay? To be honest with you, by the time Vance become president, I'm just saying to you what they are doing. Destroy everything, turn us against one another, okay, and then take over. Keep us sick as well, hungry, sick, and broke, besides, and then they take over. That's basically the goal. But my prediction is they're not going to get there. Okay? By the time he becomes president, the country, us the people, are going to be so angry. And you see, the Senate and the House, them and Vance, they don't have the same, it's not the same dynamic between them and Trump. That's what's going to save us and keep the wealthy from basically having more influence and make sure that we get to a dictatorship, because that's where they want to take us. And I would be remiss. I mean, what kind of a person would I be living under? I've lived under, I've seen it. It's not something I'm being told. Look at what it did to Haiti. The people who want to change this, our form of government, into a dictatorship, that's what they're going to inherit. Yes, I know. They think that, oh, well, you know, we are of European descent, you know. Those Africans in Haiti, they don't know. Yeah. They should talk to former military people who have been to war. Like Kissinger, the video he posted recently. People who think if they start a civil war, everything is going to be fine after that. And let me tell you, even if we don't have a civil war, I hope I'm wrong, and to whatever it might feel. Trump started this revenge tool. He won't finish it. The people they are abusing will take up arms and go after those they perceived abused them. That's what happened in Haiti. I hope I'm wrong. I hope, we'll find a fantastic leader who can preach unity and forgiveness. Because if that doesn't happen, it's going to be bad. When I say bad, those who are being abused today will take their revenge. I hope they do it through the courts and drive some of those people into bankruptcy instead of picking up weapons. But that's where Trump and the people around him, because they have no understanding of human dynamics, how when you go and do something like that, what they are doing, if they lose, if you don't make it, and there is no winning when you have a dictatorship. It's a matter of time before it's overthrown, even if it takes 200 years. In fact, it's even worse. The longer it takes to get rid of the dictatorship, the worse the blowback is. So let's hope our justice system will still be in place. Not as bad as we are seeing DOJ going. Okay, the corruption. We are doing so far so good. Not the Supreme Court, I'm talking about the lower courts. Let's hope people, we go to court and resolve our disputes that way. Because what I'm feeling intuitively, the prediction is not pretty. So I hope somebody can tell them or convince them they are heading in the wrong direction. Maybe they can watch my videos and learn, what happened in Haiti, among other places. Since they think, Haiti is an asshole country, well, look at Romania. I forget his name right now, but you guys know who I am talking about. Saddam Hussein, Idi Amin, Hitler, the guy in Italy, I forget his name right now. Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed, my friends. No, it's not going to, whatever Trump is trying to do, he is not going to take 200 years to remove it. Like Robert Reich said, the monster has awakened. People will stand up and say no, like they did for chemo, before anything else. That's my prediction. And I said the collapse, when that happens, okay, when they start implementing their cruel ideas, people rising up is what's going to cause the collapse. And as I'm saying this, I'm seeing people trying to get away, leaving the country. I know right now it doesn't seem so. But yeah, remember I told you, well, it's on video. Some of them are going to try to leave. Being successful at leaving is a whole other story. But because they know life won't be pretty after what some of them have done. Yeah, that's my prediction. And I have Comey last, and intuitively I feel they're supposed to indict Comey, Letitia James, maybe someone else, I don't remember exactly. That's going to blow up. And that too can trigger a nasty response from the public. And they have no idea what they are doing, unfortunately for us. I'm sure Nixon, if Nixon was a very smart guy, he did something stupid, but if he thought it was viable, he would have kept going. Not because he was a coward. He knew it wouldn't work. That's why Nixon didn't do it. And to believe that's what I feel. And when I focus on him, that's what I'm getting. I'm not channeling Nixon. But when I focus on him, that's what I feel. Okay? So keep our fingers crossed, my friends. Peacefully, people will be able to stop all these shenanigans. It's coming. Let's hang in there. Okay. Let's see if there are some questions. Otherwise, I won't keep you guys much longer. Melissa Thompson says, that's what I've been saying. Trump, I don't see how he's charismatic. Vance isn't same with C. Yes. And Erica. Same with apologies, Bill and Hillary. You can't inherit charisma. I agree with you, Melissa. Oh my God, South Park picked up the mantle. Krista McCracken says South Park is coming out with a new episode marking Trump. I think I saw something like that in the news this morning. I have to find out where I can go and watch it. Okay. Oh, it's Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Isabel Caputo says, love Robert Reich. Yeah, he's a very smart guy. See, she says, Milu actually is calling all the generals to DC next Tuesday. What is that about? I spoke about it. Let me see. earlier, and I think I mentioned it as I start. Yes, I heard about that. I knew you guys were going to be on that. Yes, I feel it's another way. That's what I'm getting. Even if they don't do it now, it's coming because I can confuse time. But it feels like to me they're going to trim the number of high-level commanders, and they're going to refocus. They're going to change the focus of our military to serve their purpose. Good luck to them. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's going to work. But thank you, CC, for the question. Patty 1951 says, what about firing the Fed workers over the budget? Let Trump do it. And please, if you know any of you know anybody from the Democratic Party, if you know the minority leaders, tell them to dig in deeper. This is going to, accelerate their collapse. Americans are fully aware of what Trump is doing, and the rest. Okay, they don't have a leg to stand on. Let's see what happens. But they're not going to win this. Thank you, Brenda C. Mussolini. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. K. Muldoon says, I remember once I heard Larry King say that Nixon was the most paranoid person he had ever interviewed. Oh, yes. I heard about that too. I don't know if he was the most paranoid. He was probably like Papa Doc. But he was paranoid. But he was a very smart guy. Like Papa Doc. Papa Doc was no dummy. The guy was a physician, but because of paranoia, probably schizophrenic too, because of the way he used to kill people, it's like drinking water. And I'll tell you, you give Trump enough rope, well, he's killing people overseas. Okay, he's killed how many Americans now over COVID? Okay, and he's doing in the high seas, hoping he's going to be able to say, oh, I was killing drug dealers. You have no right to do that. It's all going to come back to bite. Okay, but Brenda, she said, Eggshot needs to be arrested immediately and charged with treason. Although I don't know if that's going to be the charges for him. But let me tell you guys, when this thing is over, like I predicted a long time ago, there'll be a lot more people going to prison. I predicted a whole bunch of people were going to prison before. A little bit over 1,000 went, ended up in prison. Yes, Trump pardoned them. This time around, it's going to be a lot worse. Let's see what happens. Okay. Let's see. I think this is it, friend. Thank you, Teresa Baltazar, for reminding everyone to hit the like button. Yes, that would help me a lot. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much for your patience and for understanding. Sorry about earlier. This is Florida. It seems like it was lunchtime, even on the weekend when blackout, it comes around lunchtime. I guess people come home for lunch or something. I'm not sure why, but that's when I get the spikes, the electrical spikes, and you can blow up your stuff, all kinds of things, blackouts. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you, chat managers, for your help. I appreciate it. If you like the channel, you are not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. And also don't forget to tap on the notification bell. If anyone would like a reading from me, the link to my website is below the video, or please feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. And also, please give me a thumbs up. That would help me a lot. Again, everyone, thank you. I will see you all the same time tomorrow. I apologize on behalf of Florida Power and Light, something like that, or FLP. I think that's how they call it. That's it. For cutting off my electricity. Oh my God. Anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Till then, bye.